I'm Marty Stauffer. Most of us have seen a white-tailed deer. They live in every area of the country, sometimes even in people's backyards. We see them as lovely and graceful, and we hate to see them for what they really are, a prey species, a meal on the hoof for hungry predators. But the reason deer are sleek and swift is because they spend their whole life on the alert or on the run. One of the deer's many predators is the wolf, a creature of legends, myths, and fairy tales. Most people think of it as a savage, natural-born killer, and they think of wolves and deer as mortal enemies. The truth is, although they each depend partially on instinct, both wolves and deer must learn their respective roles as predator and prey. When young, they learn vital survival skills through imitation and play. Their education starts at birth for the wolf and the whitetail. In the wilderness, the seasons are everything. From summer to fall, from winter to spring, the lives of the wild animals are bound to the year-long rhythm of life and death. For the survivors of winter's harsh test, spring is a time of renewal. It is a time of birth for the timber wolf, a predator, and for its prey, the white-tailed deer. The pup will mature into a strong, resourceful hunter. The fawn will become swift and elusive. Yet before these wild babies take their ultimate places in nature's plan, they will spend a year or more, growing and learning, the pups with their parents and pack, and the fawns with their mother and herd. The puppies were born in mid-May and spent a month in the den with their mother. I came upon them wide-eyed and alert as they were taking their first look at the outside world. Mother Wolf is one of the most loving and devoted in the wilderness, but from now on, she's going to find it hard to keep her eye on her very curious pups. As they enter the outside world, they also enter a period of intense socialization, in which they will form lasting ties with each other and with their aunts and uncles, members of the extended family, or pack. Throughout spring, the life of the pack revolves around raising the newcomers, and raising wolf pups involves endless hours of very important play. Only one litter is born to the pack each spring. On that litter is lavished all the affection and attention of the adults, even though the babies were born to the alpha male and alpha female. This pack I observed had 7 members. Well organized and disciplined, the pack is ruled by a social dominance order. At the top are the leaders, alpha male and alpha female. Down the social ladder, each member of the pack has a certain rank. That rank is supported and defined by gestures and postures, submissive and dominant, what we could call body language. By using body language, each wolf establishes and defends its position in the pack. At an early age, play helps to decide their places. Birth, the everyday miracle. To witness the birth of a wild animal is rare. I was very fortunate to find this white-tailed doe just as her time had come. Often a wild mother seeks shelter in a burrow or den, shielding herself from hungry predators. But the white-tailed doe gives birth when she is ready, regardless of where she is. The newborn tries out its wobbly legs with some encouragement from mother. Learning to stand immediately after birth is an important lesson for a hunted animal. The fawn will thrive on its mother's rich milk, 3 to 4 times higher in butter fat and protein than cow's milk. A doe's first birth is single, but after that, twins are the rule. Both fawns will have control over their unsteady legs in about an hour, but mainly, for the first few critical days, the fawns lie still and flat on the forest floor, safeguarded by their camouflage coats and relative lack of odor. When danger threatens, they freeze. As soon as they are dry and have had their first meal, she leads them away to a safer, more secluded spot. By late spring, childhood, with all its endeavors and hurdles, has begun. After a reassuring nudge from mother, the youngster tries again. The rocks are a good obstacle course for the fawn, and although it can now outrun a human, more practice is needed before it can escape a wolf. Ears, like radar antennae, scan the air for the slightest sound. The doe depends on her sensitive hearing to locate her fawns and to detect predators. The young whitetails, too, learn to use their eyes, ears, and nose, and to keep walking, always putting more distance between predators and themselves. When lying down, they also try to keep their nose to the prevailing wind. Only the most alert are still alive now, at age 2 weeks. A young wolf will put anything and everything into its mouth, both a terrific game and an important lesson for later. Someday it will have to carry meat for miles to feed its own pups. Its main purpose is to assemble the widely scattered pack for the hunt. And as the pack gathers near the den site, a great group ceremony takes place. Even after a short separation, the pack members greet one another with enthusiasm. The subordinates surround and nuzzle the alpha male. This submissive gesture says they are hungry. Yet no matter how hungry the pack is, they won't begin the hunt until the leader is ready. The pups are too young to join, except in spirit. An ant babysits while mother goes off to hunt. Deer are in the area. The wolves are excited and expectant as they try to catch scent of the prey. Their excitement grows. They've scented the quarry. Healthy adults can run faster than wolves, but this yearling may find it hard to escape. It tries its mother's first lesson, concealment, but the wolves are too close and too many. It must flee. yearling was able to escape. About 10 deer get away for every one that is caught. The hunt must continue. This deer tries to stand its ground. Its defense tactic confuses the wolf. Wolves are cursorial, or running animals, and need a moving target. For a moment, it looks as if the tables are turned. But as the pack closes in, the deer must change its defense plan. Again, running seems to be the only solution. Killing, for the wolves, is as natural and inevitable as the passage of the sun across the sky. Mother has brought back meat in her stomach and now regurgitates it for their first taste of solid food. The purpose of regurgitation? It allows an animal to travel far, for the wolves as many as 15 to 20 miles in a single hunt, and bring back fresh food for the young. Nearly every part of the whitetail is used. Its skin and bones make entertaining and educational toys. By playing with all parts of the deer, the pups become familiar with the smell, taste, and feel of future prey. When the pups aren't eating, they're playing. If lucky, they may catch a mouse, but wolves are not born killers. Instead, they are born with certain behavior patterns, running, jumping, stalking, that allow them, through observation and experience, to learn to survive. One day, this young deer and this young wolf will be mortal enemies. But for the moment, both youngsters are still innocent and curious, unschooled in the roles of predator and prey. Because it is a predator, the pup is naturally more playful than the deer. Wolves must search for their elusive meals, so they never stop investigating and exploring. The fawn is also inquisitive, but in a more contained way. It doesn't know what to make of this furry and energetic creature. However, the fawn doesn't run. Its defense reactions are, for the most part, learned. By seeing adult deer run, the fawn too will know to run. Try as it may, the young wolf cannot interest its new acquaintance in a game of hide and seek. Someday, perhaps they will meet again. But now, no matter how far they roam, there is no place like home and mother. For the rest of the summer, the wild babies will run and play, venturing further and further from their homes and parents. They will discover the ways of the wilderness and master vital survival skills. And next winter, the young wolves and the young deer will be ready to take their ultimate places in nature's plan. Summer has been good for the wolf pups, and they too have grown strong. Perhaps by looking at the social structure of the wolf pack, we can find some insight into our behavior. Because 10,000 years ago, we were also group hunters. In fact, some anthropologists believe the social life of wolves to be identical to the life of early humans. There is a dominance order in which commands are given and tasks carried out. Different generations of the same family live together. Many individuals cooperate in the hunting of large prey, and, for a prolonged period, the young are dependent on adults to teach them the laws of their society. They provide us with a good example of harmonious communal life. Even the howl may say something. Electroanalysis has shown it to be similar to the human voice. Often the wolves raise their voices in unison for no other apparent reason than sheer joy. The rally call is a spontaneous expression of good feeling. The howling and greeting ceremony now includes the pups. They have found their places in the pack's social order and act accordingly, with displays of dominance and submission. Bonds between all members of the pack are firm. These lifetime bonds are severed when a human kills a wolf. And if the leader is killed, a state of chaos and confusion results. It may take the rest of the pack several years to recover. To get solid food, the pups still beg. Now, at the end of summer, the adolescents have had many hours of make-believe hunting. The day of their first real hunt draws near. The fawn is curious about the strange growths on the buck's head. He's in velvet. Velvet is a kind of modified skin, a nourishing tissue that feeds and protects the growing antlers. When new, antlers are one of the fastest growing forms of animal tissue known. A young deer starts to grow them when he enters his second spring. He will shed them in winter. When growth is stopped for the year, the velvet dries and peels, revealing hard antlers. Right before mating season, the male's blood runs hot. Even the smaller spike buck feels the instinctual call and challenges an older buck to fight. But it's not for the championship. The spike buck won't enter the mating contest in earnest until next fall. The male and female whitetail group together for the autumn mating season. The bucks are in their prime, coats sleek, eyes clear, necks swollen, antlers polished and shiny, and are very attractive to the female's heavy musk odor. Drawn together in an ancient instinctual embrace, the male and female complete the grand circle of life. In 6 to 7 months, the does will again give birth to their fawns. With the mating season over, each animal begins its preparation for the harshest test of all, winter. It is the time when the drama of predator and prey is made vivid. The hungry and the hunted both play out their roles on the stark, snow-swept stage. For all, food is scarce. For the deer, availability of food is the biggest factor determining herd size. The wolves adjust to the number of deer. The young, although not yet full grown, now look like adults. All have thick winter coats underlined with cold-proof wool. In deep snow, wolves have the advantage over deer, but because the deer have yarded, the snow is trampled down, and they find escape easier. One buck stays behind, strong and unafraid. This is probably one of the many confrontations the buck has had with wolves. For deer, each day is a matter of how to eat without being eaten. But contrary to what many people think, a single wolf cannot kill a healthy deer. He graduated long ago from the school of survival. As a gesture of victory, the buck polishes the weapons that have just served him so well. The rest of the pack, including the juveniles, reaches the deer yard and fans out in different directions. The wolves find a deer that was unable to escape with the herd, one that is weak and unhealthy. I thought it was dying of malnutrition. Predators in balance with their prey keep the herd in top condition, like a gardener pulling weeds. The young wolves watch and learn. The deer, young and old, also witness the scene. The stamped forefoot, a warning signal, comes too late for the sick one. The final lesson for the young wolves and for the young deer. For both, it is the end of the age of innocence. It's a familiar smell, first introduced months ago back at the den. The youngsters now know that deer are food and that killing means eating. From now on, they will accompany the adults on the hunt. The wolf drags the carcass to hide it in a safe, temporary spot. People finding wolf-killed carcasses often think that wolves are wanton killers. In truth, the wolf has hidden the carcass until it can gather the pack to come and feed. wilderness, death is as natural as life. Unlike humans, animals are not burdened with the knowledge that they too will someday die. The wolf and the whitetail, both are halves of one whole. The wolves, by killing the weak and diseased, allow the strong and healthy to prosper. The deer feed the wolves, and the wolves keep the deer strong. And as long as there are wolves and whitetail, as long as their babies can grow to take their ultimate places in nature's plan, the primitive struggle will never end. In Alaska and Canada, the wolf still roams in fairly stable numbers. But in the lower 48 states, it only thrives in small areas of Michigan and Minnesota. There might be a pitiful few left in Montana and Wyoming. We should protect our remaining wolves in the last few places where they still survive. And we should try to reintroduce them into selected areas like our national parks where they were killed off in the past. That was before we realized the important balance that exists between predator and prey, between species like the wolf and the whitetail. I'm Marty Stauffer. Until next time, enjoy our wild America. I'm Marty Stauffer, and I'm here in northwest Montana, not far from the Bob Marshall Wilderness area. These mountains are the home of a legendary creature, the wolverine. It's been called a ravenous monster and a supernatural being. It's been nicknamed skunk bear because it smells like a skunk, looks like a bear, and has the short temper of both. The Eskimos called it Evil One, and the white fur trappers hated it. But can one animal really be all that bad? We've never really had the chance to find out. The wolverine once ranged as far south as Pennsylvania. Traps, poisons, and habitat loss nearly wiped it out. Today, it's rarely sighted below the Canadian border. It's gone from Michigan, which is still called the Wolverine State. The largest population left in the lower 48 is found here in Montana, and recent studies in this area have shed some light on this secretive creature. Explore with me this rugged wilderness of Wolverine country. It's the ultimate scavenger, surviving on the fringes of the food web. It's the largest of the land-dwelling weasels. It's a major traveler among mammals. This bear cat, famous for its unsurpassed strength and endurance, is a savage loner. I'm here to look for this fascinating beast and to find out for myself if the legends about it are true. The carcass of a road-killed deer will serve as bait, and a well-trained team will take me by dog sled into the heart of Wolverine country. Only non-motorized travel is allowed in the Bob Marshall Wilderness. I pack for a long, cold trip.
Okay, Nicky, Koya. Hut, hut, hut. Nicky, hut, hut. Nicky, ho, hut, 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 hut.
Here we go.
Whoa.
The dogs take off after a fox. I help it escape by putting all my weight on the drag brake.
Nicky, Koya. Whoa.
Funny that they should dislike their wild cousin that much.
Come on, Nicky. Koyak. Whoa. You guys know better than that. You guys, whoa. You know better than that. You just about scared that fox to death. Come here, Nicky. Koyak. All right, come on, move out. Move on out here. Whoa. You made a mess of it this time. Nice mess you made here. Okay. All right, now this might work and it might not. All right, Koyak, let's do something. No more foxes. All right, yeah, Nicky, Koyak, yeah. Come on. Yeah, must you, husky.
As we leave the frozen lake and head up into the forest, the snowstorm blows in again.
Yeah. Push. Yeah. Push you. Mush. I don't think we're going to go much farther than this. We'll find a good spot.
After a long, hard day, even the dogs are exhausted. Finally, this is Wolverine country.
Right up here. Let's make it into these trees. Okay, Koyak. Nicky. Yep. Yeah.
February nights are long and cold, but the moon and fire brighten our little winter camp. Beyond the circle of light, the dogs are resting. And beyond that, the darkness is alive with sounds.
you worried about? Wolverines aren't supposed to eat people, and I'm sure they don't eat dogs. Koyak?
A wolverine can be active at any hour of any season. Unlike many other mammals, it does not hibernate or migrate in winter. Grizzly and black bears are in their dens now, so I wonder what's making the dogs so nervous. I have a good idea, but this night belongs to the wild things. I'll wait until daybreak to explore. My plan is to place the carcass in a likely spot and then hide nearby. Some people say that wolverines cannot be trapped. The truth is that a wolverine's keen nose will lead it right into a baited trap. But it usually won't stay there long. It may break off its teeth chewing through the heavy trap chain, or it may even sacrifice a foot or leg to escape. The wolverine is primarily nocturnal, but maybe this feast will tempt one out of hiding. I position myself where I can watch both the bait and the trail that the animals will be using. A stand of trees is a natural blind. A wolf. These wild dogs can go for weeks without eating, and this one may have. Here in Montana, wolves are even rarer than wolverines. A few small packs and loners down from Canada are all that survive. Although it normally hunts live, large mammals with its pack, a single wolf won't pass up an opportunity like this. But I've seen wolves before. It's wolverines that I'm after now. I hope that this hungry wolf will leave some for them. The wolf is not even aware of my presence. A wolverine might not be so bold. They don't like open spaces. I'd like to move in closer in case one shows up. But first, I need to dress for the occasion. In winter whites, I won't be seen by even the shyest wolverine. Any animal that's busy feeding will think that I'm just a part of the snowbank. I move in quietly for a closer look. Another wolf, and on the ridge, a wolverine. It is a hard winter here, judging from the popularity of this bait station. The wolves' acceptance of each other is a sure sign that they're from the same pack. I don't think they'll be as friendly toward the wolverine. The wolverine seems to be the winner for now, but it looks like it senses something else. Another wolverine. Their home ranges average well over 100 square miles each, and the areas of these two probably overlap. They scent mark to avoid each other, and except for a brief summer mating season, they usually fight when they come together. The carcass is reclaimed by the winner. The loser continues on its wandering lifestyle. Wolverines are fiercely independent. Their scavenging way of life has made them so, and they're big eaters. After a few days, only some bones remain of the carcass. It's easy to see the fresh tracks when it finally leaves the carcass and goes wandering again. But following the trail is another story. It climbed straight up a mountain, crossed over a pass, and continued down into the next valley. Then it went right down the face of a frozen waterfall. Just a short 20-mile stroll. After 3 days, I catch up with the Wolverine in its makeshift sleeping den. Years of human hunting and trapping of these creatures for their frost-free fur may explain some of their shyness. But the Wolverine is not a serious hunter itself. Catching a healthy snowshoe hare on the run would require a bit more speed than it can muster. Unlike the scavenging wolverine, the fox is designed for long, high-speed chases. The so-called red fox can be the standard reddish-orange, or it can be a silver fox, which is black with silver highlights, or it can be a cross between these two colors. This is a cross fox, and it looks hungry. wolverine is not made for the long chase, but it has an amazing sense of smell. It hunts by cunning and craft and thievery. The bear-cat moves in. Busy burying the hare for future use, the hunter does not suspect that it is now the hunted. The fox will return to the food cache later, if it's still there. The relentless wolverine can smell food hidden under several feet of snow. Claiming the fox's prize, it shows why it is a steadfast survivor of this harsh mountain wilderness and the ultimate scavenger. Down through history, there's been a lot of bad things said about them, mainly by fur trappers whose trap lines they raided. But I like wolverines, and I hope you've been as fascinated by them as I am. I'm happy to report that the wolverine is a legend that's not about to die. In recent years, they've been expanding their range south of the Canadian border because of legal protection and also a decline in fur trapping. There is a bright future for this wandering, misunderstood loner. Their main stronghold is right here in northwest Montana. But recently, there have been sightings in Washington State, Oregon, and even as far south as California, down in the Sierras. Others have been discovered in Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado. This unique species has endured because it can live and travel easily where few men care to follow, in remote and rugged wolverine country. I'm Marty Stauffer. Until next time, enjoy our wild America. I'm Marty Stauffer. It's easy to imagine the untamed wildness of the good old days as you listen to a lone coyote sing its ancient song. To some of us, this mournful cry kindles delight and inspiration. To others, dread and hatred. In Indian mythology, the coyote was revered for its cleverness and mystical song. Yet our modern society condemns the coyote for its predatory instinct to kill. Regardless of our mixed emotions, this wild canine has proven itself to be one of the most intelligent and successful of all animals on Earth. With efficient hunting skills, an opportunistic diet, strong social bonds, and an incredible capacity to learn, the coyote can quickly change habits and habitat. Even in the face of adversity, this animal thrives. The controversial coyote. As early pioneers carved a niche in the American landscape, most large predators lost their native habitats, with one exception, the coyote. Even in Yellowstone Park, the wolf is gone, and the coyote reigns as top dog in the ecosystem. Fortunately, Yellowstone escaped the pioneer's axe and remains a land of plenty. For the otter, there's always an abundance of food, and where there's food, this clever canine is not far away. Capable of outwitting almost any animal, the coyote is not above trying to steal the otter's fish. The otter delights in tempting the coyote with its catch of the day. The contest becomes more heated as a fellow opportunist arrives. Crow Indians called it the trickster. Like the trickster, the otter is also a creature of wit and mischief. But suddenly, the otter has more trouble than it bargained for. Snatching the fish from the otter is only one small victory. To win the battle, he must keep it from the other coyotes. Hungry ravens await the scraps. In the end, dominance, not chance, dictates which contender claims the prize. Watching this drama, I understand better how these wily predators have survived against all odds. Yet, intelligence does not always guarantee success. Flexibility in diet and habitat are two key factors in the struggle to survive. Animals that are quick to adapt, such as the raven and coyote, are much less vulnerable once the balance of nature is altered. It also helps to have friends in the right places. Coyotes often gaze skyward. Spiraling ravens can lead to carrion or easy prey. As keen as a coyote's sense of smell is, it's not nearly as keen as a raven's eyesight. In turn, the ravens get leftovers from the coyote's kill. Their relationship is symbiotic, meaning that each benefits from the other. Undaunted by defeat, the otter emerges from its steamy playground with yet another catch. This resourceful carnivore is no less a predator than the coyote. And predation may well be the strongest link in the chain of life. Late winter marks the beginning of the mating season. To signal the male that she is reproductively ready, the female paws and bites at his flanks, enticing him to mate. Despite her feminine wiles, something else has captured his interest. For now, he must keep a watchful eye on his food cache. A winter-killed deer whose scent is sure to draw a prowler. Coyotes are very territorial, and this large male has trespassed onto foreign turf. But in the winter, the ache of an empty stomach overrides respect for territorial boundaries. He proclaims his presence by urinating and continues to investigate. This pair is not about to surrender the carcass. A fallen deer is a rare commodity during a mild winter. Coyotes usually fare better in harsh weather when their normal diet of carrion is more abundant. The resident male stays close by the female. His possessiveness demonstrates the devotion coyotes show toward their mates. It looks as though the large intruder could easily intimidate the smaller male. Yet a formidable male will act submissive in alien territory. Because he's unfamiliar with the surroundings, his confidence is diminished, and he's therefore reluctant to fight. With ownership of the carcass established, the pair returns to the business of courtship. Months of intimate friendship prior to mating helps strengthen the pair bond. This loyalty is rarely challenged by other coyotes. A male coyote has a reproductive cycle that coincides with the females. He's actually sterile for 8 months of the year. The pups are born in late April or May. By 3 weeks of age, they begin to investigate their surroundings with ever-growing curiosity and coordination. Evolution made the coyote a creature of our western plains, prairies, and deserts. By clearing forests and exterminating other large carnivores, modern civilization has favored the expansion of the coyote's range from California to New England and Costa Rica to Alaska. It now occupies the niches left vacant by man's elimination of wolves, bears, cougars, and wolverines. The protective mother constantly studies the breeze for any message of approaching danger. Already, some pups are seeking to assert dominance over their litter mates. These rough-and-tumble games will determine their social status as adults. A highly developed social structure is characteristic of most canines. Before the West was settled, the coyote frequently traveled in packs, like wolves. After centuries of persecution, the coyote found little safety in numbers and adopted a more solitary lifestyle, except in protected refuges and national parks where they occasionally still run in packs. Unlike the wolf, which depends on pack cooperation to bring down large prey, the coyote can pursue smaller prey quite effectively on its own. With this adaptability, it's no wonder the coyote has roamed this continent for 55 million years, while so many other animals have become extinct. Ancient records show that the first American natives held this song dog in high regard. Endowed with names such as God's Dog and Old Man Coyote, he played a supreme role in their religion. Perhaps early man felt a spiritual kinship with the coyote because he saw many of his own qualities in this wild dog. Coyotes have not fared as well with modern man. This female has much to teach her pups about a world filled with predator hatred. And learning always has a price. These pups learned the hardest way of all. They were killed in their den, victims of a controversial predator control program. Adults are trapped, poisoned, even shot from the air, all on the assumption that reducing their population will protect livestock. Coyotes are especially unpopular with sheep ranchers, who claim to lose large numbers of sheep to coyotes and other predators. As sheep ranching became less profitable over the years, sheepmen sought the help of the federal government to control coyote populations. Certainly the most deadly and the least specific method was the use of compound 1080 and strychnine, inserted into meatballs and scattered across public and private rangelands. Poison-baited explosive devices called coyote getters were substituted to target coyotes more effectively. Sheep carcasses are also injected with poison and left for scavengers. This method kills off carrion-eating coyotes, while blame-worthy individuals continue to dine on live sheep. Indiscriminate poisoning kills many other species as well. The least humane of all the grim gadgets is the leg-hold trap. A coyote will chew off its own foot to escape. Unfortunately, the traps are not selective. Other animals, by the thousands, become victims. The stomach contents of this poisoned coyote included 19 mice and a kangaroo rat. As more and more coyotes are killed in an area, the rodent population explodes. A poisoning program for rodents is sure to follow. This creates more government jobs, but leaves a trail of poison that endangers wildlife and humans alike. A non-lethal, environmentally sound tradition which saves thousands of sheep in Europe is livestock guard dogs. They reduce predation and provide an alternative to lethal methods. These dogs may look sheepish, but coyotes stay away and return to the important task of keeping the rodent population in check. Alive and well, despite ruthless control efforts, the coyote remains the most controversial animal in the history of wildlife management. Most coyotes are more interested in their natural prey. A jackrabbit. The adults relay one another, using teamwork to exhaust or outwit this long-legged speedster. It's ironic that we tend to root for the underdog, to sympathize with the jackrabbit. As predators ourselves, we should be able to identify more with the coyotes. An immature goshawk joins in, but is not yet ready for such large prey. The coyotes seem to relish the chase, but catching their quarry is not just fun and games. To a predator, it's a matter of life and death. Many people believe the coyote's role is that of villain, but nature does not distinguish between villains and victims, only between the successful and the unsuccessful. In a world where survival of the fittest is supreme law, this arch predator will probably outlive most other creatures. In the words of a Crow Indian chief, when the antelope have gone and the buffalo wallows are empty, only the wail of the coyote will be heard. Since our continent was first settled, the coyote has competed with man as a predator of wild animals and livestock. Today, more than ever, the coyote is paying for this competition with its life. Yet the normal food habits of most coyotes are more beneficial than harmful. Their roles in controlling rodent populations and as scavengers are often overlooked in our relentless attempts to exterminate them. There is no doubt that we have the power to destroy our wildlife heritage. The question is, do we have the wisdom to preserve it? Are we clever enough to end this war so that both sides can prosper? Certainly we can find a way to make peace with the controversial coyote. I'm Marty Stauffer. Until next time, Enjoy our wild America.